Hey everyone, today we got the smoker going and we're going to put some beef tri-tip on today. We're going to prep it three ways. One, we're going to make a simple poor boy sandwich, just a beef sandwich using some homemade horseradish sauce. We're going to take another and we're going to try to replicate a famous sandwich from a restaurant out in San Diego called Phil's Barbecue. They call it the El Toro. And then the third one, we're going to take one of these, we're going to cook it like a brisket, low and slow, even wrap it, and see how that turns out. So stick around and maybe learn a thing or two, or maybe you'll find out that you like tri-tip too. So we got the fire started, I'm getting it up to temp. So next thing, let me take these out of here, clean them up a little bit, and we'll talk about trimming them. Okay, so I took these inside, I pulled them out of their package, rinsed them a little bit. I like to rinse them off and then just blotted them with the paper towel. So if you're not familiar with a tri-tip, it comes from the bottom tip of the sirloin. There's two per cow, obviously. If you've never heard of a tri-tip, that's not surprising. You're probably on the East Coast or in the Northeast. This became popular in the 50s in Santa Maria Valley in California. From Santa Maria, it kind of spread on the West Coast, went south down to San Diego. This is a popular cut in Oregon and Washington State as well. So you're starting to see it across the nation. If you don't have it in your local shops, you can always order it online from a provider. I got these at our local HEB, which is a Texas store. Everything that we're going to use today is a Texas brand. HEB is really good about their meat selection. There's very little that I can actually not find there or not, get from them. There is, on one side, you'll see a very large fat cap. So on a couple of these, the ones that we're going to make sandwiches out of, we want to remove that fat cap. They're very easy to trim. Doesn't take that long. You want to take the silver skin off this side, some of the fat off of here, and then I'll take off all the fat cap. To trim, you need a sharp knife. But be careful that you don't get down too far into the meat. But you'll see how much is there. It's quite a bit. And all that can come off. Don't try to take it all off at once, because you'll get in there and start getting down to the meat and not realizing it. But you can take a healthy chunk at once, see? Go. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but you can see we went from this to this in just a few minutes. I can leave some of that on, and then on the other side you just kind of want to clean that up as well. Now there's going to maybe some flaps here. This isn't like a brisket. You don't have to make it perfectly round to get the smoke across, because it's not going to be in the smoke very long. Like I said, like 30-45 minutes. This side is mainly you're going to be taking the silver skin off and these little bits of fat. It's all your preference, how much you want to leave on there, how much you want to take off. The big piece, the big chunks here that are harder, that's not going to break down anyway, so you may as well take that. And you know what? I'm just going to trim this. I'm going to take a little meat with it, but it's okay. So that looks good. There is the sandwich version. It's ready for seasoning. So let's take one. Let me choose one for a brisket here. We'll just stick with this one. Take that off. Let me square this off. So as I mentioned, bringing these up to about, the sandwich version's up to about 125. Only takes 30-45 minutes, not that long. This guy, though, we're going to take him to, between 200 and 205, like a normal brisket. So it's probably going to take 4 to 5 hours. Now, once it reaches around 170 or so, we're going to pull it. We're going to wrap it in paper, just like I would for a normal brisket. So all I'm doing right now is just taking off kind of this ugly layer of fat that's right on top. And just a little bit more here. So there we go. that's our brisket. So let me do the other two up, and then we'll talk about seasoning. Okay, so we got everything trimmed. We got our 3 sandwich ones trimmed. We got our brisket version trimmed. So let's talk about some seasoning. Again, all Texas. So Meat Church out of Waxahachie, Texas, just south of Dallas. A guy named Phil Pittman founded this. They've got a whole line of rubs, and I've really, found that this is what works best for me. So the Holy Cow is a pepper forward rub. It's got pepper, salt, garlic powder, what you would normally see that you want to put on a brisket. I use this on all my beef. So this is pretty much my go-to. So Holy Cow from Meat Church. You can find it at Academy sells it. Also Buc-ee's. You can find it there as well. Or you can order it directly from meatchurch.com. You just want to put a liberal amount of this on here. Don't be stingy. Now you notice I didn't put a binder on this. I normally don't on beef. I will on like a pork roast, pork butt, if I'm doing pulled pork, but not on beef. I like to let them sit for about 15-20 minutes, let it sweat, let those seasonings kind of soak in. Flip it over. You're going to eat both sides, you better season both sides. This is our poor boy version. Let's grab the next one. And let's say this one is going to be our El Toro version, the California sandwich. That we're going to, again, use some Texas rubs. So what they do at Phil's Barbecue, I haven't seen really a recipe on how they build this. I've had one. It's good. I didn't get a lot of seasoning. It's mainly a lot of sauce. But they grill this over charcoal. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to season it just like a regular piece of beef. We're going to use Holy Cow. And then smoke it with some post oak. So instead of just charcoal, we're going to give it some post oak flavor. Then we'll let it rest for a bit. Let it cool down just a little. Put it on a meat slicer, get some real thin slices, and then go from there. Yeah, Meat Church has a lot of good rubs. So this is, as I mentioned, this is my go-to for beef. They've got one sitting here at Holy Voodoo, which is good on everything. I will occasionally go out and buy a few packages of cashews, throw them in a pan, put some Holy Voodoo, cover them in Holy Voodoo, and then put them in the smoker for about an hour. Man, they're awesome. Great little snack. This isn't a commercial for Matt Pittman. I think he's doing well without me helping him out. So those are our 3 that we're going to cook like a steak that we can cut up into sandwiches. The brisket I'm going to do a little different. I'm going to try some Holy Voodoo on this and just see how it turns out. I've never tried Holy Voodoo on beef, but I'm just curious. So what we're going to do is first put a layer of pepper on it, because Voodoo has salt but no pepper. Salt, few sugars. Okay. So again, nothing's better on a brisket than just salt and pepper, so that's what we're going to start with. We'll put some pepper on it first. That ought to be enough. And then we'll take a look at the Holy Voodoo. So you need to shake it up. So it is sugar based, so sometimes it clumps up on me. And you'll see it's much finer than the Holy Cow as well. But this stuff's good on vegetables. It's good on smoked salmon. There we go. I think we're good. So let me let these sit here and rest for a bit. Let that soak in for just a few minutes. Check on the temperature, and then we'll put these on. We'll check back in a little bit and see how these things are doing on the smoker then. So while the tri-tip is smoking, let's go ahead and make preparations for the poor boy sandwich. So I like a hearty bread with that. It's organic country Italian style Batard artisan bread. But this works wonders for like a steak sandwich. So we'll open this up. What I like to do, you're supposed to bake this in like a 350-degree oven for like 9 minutes. But what I do is I just open these guys up, throw them in the smoker at around 250 for about 20 minutes. It gives it a good exterior, hard crunchy exterior, while leaving the inside very soft. So let me throw these on real quick and come back and we'll make up our sauce. There we go. For the horseradish sauce, what I've done is in this bowl we have half a cup of mayonnaise and a quarter cup of sour cream. So basically it's 2-to-1 mayonnaise to sour cream. Now the mayonnaise, totally your choice. Around here Duke's is a big favorite. My wife is more of a Hellman's fan, so we're using Hellman's. So we want to start mixing that up, but also we want to add some things to that. We've got a Beaver brand extra hot horseradish. So we're going to try that. I've tried normal prepared horseradish before, and it just didn't do the trick. So I'm hoping this extra hot's going to work. And I'm going to go ahead and start with a couple teaspoons. And let's see just how hot this is. So mix that together. Okay, now to that, I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. Not a lot. Again, it's preference. There we go. And some holy voodoo. So I did say this stuff is good on everything. So we're going to add maybe about a teaspoon of this. That should be enough. And also a little lemon juice. Go. Okay, so let's see here. Hands are clean. Oh, that's good. Oh man, that's perfect. Yeah, I don't even touch it. That's perfect. Okay, I'm going to put this in the fridge, let the flavors kind of mix together well. The longer you leave it in the fridge, the better it's going to turn out. So let me go put this away, then we'll get our bread prepped, pull the meat here probably within the next 10-15 minutes, and start slicing up some sandwiches. Okay. So 3 of our tri-tips have gotten up to just under 125. So we pulled them, let them rest for a little bit. I'll temp them here real quick. Yeah, they're coming in at about 125. That one's at 124. There we go, 122. And 126. So that's perfect. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take each one and we're going to open the firebox. I'm going to put a little grill in there on top of the normal grill, and then we're just going to sear these for about a minute per side to get some color on there and to finish these off. So it'll take it up to, you know, about 130, 135 or so, and go from there. Okay, we'll be back. I'll show you what they look like afterwards. Okay, see the color on that? That's what that searing does. It gives it some good flavor, caramelization. Sear both sides. So now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to eat a sandwich. So I've got the bread. We went and smoked it for a little bit over 20 minutes, but it got the crust hard, it got the inside soft. Then I went in, split it in half, put a little butter on it, and then laid it over the fire a little bit so that can crisp up on the inside too. But it's still good and soft in the middle there, which is kind of what I like. Let me put this here, and let's take a look at this. Now, here's something you're going to hear in every tri-tip video. There's a trick to cutting it. If you look at the way the grain, sorry about that, windy today. If you look at the way the grain runs, it kind of fans out from this point. So right now you can see the grain here, it's running this way, and then it's running this way. So you want to cut against the grain, especially for sandwiches, to get a good clean bite. So normally what you'll do is you'll find a place in the middle where the grain starts to kind of move. And we're going to cut right here. And then take this one and slice it this way, and this one slice it against the grain this way. Just like this, I will cut about, what is that, about a 1/4 inch? Let me try this here real quick. Oh. You know, in a lot of ways, that's better than a ribeye. You get a more beefy flavor from tri-tip than you do a ribeye, I think. Take this last bite too. Okay, let's build our sandwich. We'll grab a bun. Take some of this horseradish sauce and basically coat each side. Now, like any sandwich, this is, you know, your preference, however much you want to put on there. And this bread will soak up a lot of that. So okay, so there's our base. So then we're just going to start layering on the meat. And again, don't be stingy. The more the merrier. Okay, then a good provolone is good on this, like any steak and cheese. Lay that over it, and then I also like some very thinly sliced red onion. I guess I could have had this done before we started filming, huh? There we go. Break those up a little bit. Lay some rings on there. And there is our beef per boy. And then you can slice it in multiple slices. This is a great party favor, I guess. I was invited to go dove hunting with a group last year, and I didn't have much to offer the group at the time, so I made up a bunch of freezer bags full of these and took them out there. And when I pulled them out, they disappeared in like 5 minutes. So, okay, let's see what we did here. Look at that. Okay. Mm. Sorry, that beef comes through good, but that bread makes all the difference too. You get that crunchy outside, that layer, then inside, and you get the onions crunching with it. Did really good this time on the horseradish. So use the hot horseradish when you mix this. So that's really good. A lot of layers. Provolone's good. But the star of the show is that tri-tip. And you just can't get a better bite of beef than this. So, okay. Well, I'm going to eat this. Maybe make another one here. Put these in some bags and put them away. And then we'll start working on the El Toro sandwich next. Be right back. Okay, so now it's time to start working on the El Toro. Last year, I was doing some work for San Diego State University and was flying back home through the San Diego airport. Had about an hour before my flight took off, so I was looking for something to eat and found Phil's Barbecue. I thought, you know, I've become a Texas barbecue snob, so I'm like, how good can this be? But I saw a tri-tip sandwich on their menu, and as you can tell from the last sandwich we made, I thought I was pretty good at it, so I wanted to try theirs. It's called the El Toro. What they do is they grill the tri-tip over charcoal, then they slice it real thin, and then put the slices back on the grill, and then, you know, drounce it in barbecue sauce. I gotta say, it was a year ago. The sandwich was good. It wasn't that memorable because I really can't remember what the sauce was like. I seem to remember it was a little sweet. But today, we're gonna go with Mitch's malt sauce. That's gonna be our base. This doesn't have a big kick to it. Stop it, wind. So we're gonna mix that with Stubbs spicy. Now, say what you want to about Stubbs. Some of their sauces are really good. I've been using Stubbs before we moved to Virginia, or before we moved to Texas. When we lived in Virginia, I was using Stubbs for many years. Didn't even realize they were a Texas brand. So both of these are. So we're going to go ahead and get these on so they can start mixing. We'll heat them up a little bit. Okay, so what I'll normally do is about, let's just do half and half. Let's just do the whole thing here. Who knows how many sandwiches we're going to make. So this is a 1-to-1 ratio here. We'll mix that up. And then I'm going to put it on the fire to heat up a little bit so it can mix a little better. And then we'll be ready to start slicing our meat here in a minute on the deli slicer. And we're going to bring back the star of the show. Tri-tip. So we've had this one sitting for a while. It's cooled off. And I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut this into 3 slices so that we can cut it easier on the meat slicer. So something like that. If you don't have a meat slicer, you could do this with a normal knife, but this makes it a little bit easier. Sherry, my wife, bought me this a few years back, right before we left Virginia, because I was making, actually I'm going to cut that tail off here. I was making a lot of beef jerky in preparation for some hiking trips out in California. So this is, you can really cut the strips good here on like a beef round for smoking them and making jerky. So I'm going to try, let's see what a 2 looks like. This should be interesting. Okay, well, it looks about like that. So I tell you what, let's take it back to a 1. Try this. So that's much better. So see, it comes out like that. That's good, kind of good for what we're looking for. Okay, so there we go. Got our meat. It's seasoned, it's smoked, it's sliced. Now we got to do is we're going to take this, we'll put it back on the grill in the firebox over the open flame. Pour a little sauce on it. Let that flame heat that meat back up. It'll caramelize that sauce. You'll get some good chewy bits, and then we'll make a sandwich here in a bit. Okay, so we got our meat sliced for the El Toro sandwich. So what we want to do is we want to take a pretty good portion. That's good for one sandwich, right? And we're going to lay it in there like so. And then take some sauce and just pour over the top of it. Now you're going to get messy, so don't worry about it. And we'll take our tongs and I'll mix that up a bit. Tell you what, no reason why we can't do 2 sandwiches at once, right? They don't really put the recipe for this sandwich anywhere that I've seen, but the El Toro was featured on a Travel Channel show, The Best Sandwiches in America. Adam Richmond, from the guy that used to do all the eating challenges, hosted that show, and he went out to Phil's. This sandwich actually, I think, made 2nd place on that show. And Phil's Barbecue is supposed to be a very, very good restaurant. It's won awards for the restaurant itself. Best barbecue in California, I think. A few others. So it's a well-respected name. That's the reason I wanted to try to recreate this too. Put a little Texas spin on it. So what we're looking for is for that sauce to caramelize, and for some char to start appearing on some of the meat as well. So the name El Toro actually has some meaning to the Benton family. My father was a Marine Corps pilot. He was a dive bomber in World War II and Korea. Flew over 120 active wartime missions, around 30 in World War II and 90 in over 90 in Korea. And the only time he lost an aircraft was during a weekend peacetime reserve drill. He was flying back from California back to Millington, where he did his reserve drills, and he was flying a F-9F Panther, which was a jet. Now, he mostly flew prop planes in especially World War II and Korea, but in Korea they started flying the F-9Fs, and that's what his reserve unit was assigned to. So shortly after takeoff, he got to 200 feet, the jet had a flame out, and he basically had no choice but to eject. And when he did, he got out safely. Nobody was hurt. There was an orange grove that some trees were taken out when the plane came down, but nobody was hurt. He was deemed not to be at fault. But the base this occurred at was Marine Corps Air Base El Toro, which is south of LA, north of Pendleton, north of La Jolla, in that area. And I was able to go there. It's now closed. They bracked it, but I was able to go there when it was still open and drive around. So yeah, a little bit of Benton family history for you. Hey, there we go. That's what we're looking for. Some of that char there. Oh yeah, little crunchy bits. Pull some of this side off. Well, we got the meat off the grill, and time to make the sandwich. So, Phil's uses a brioche bun. I'm more of I grew up eating pulled pork sandwiches in Memphis on bread like this, just plain buns, and I'm a sesame seed guy, so I gotta have my sesame seeds. So basically, take some meat, a real simple sandwich to actually put together. Put some meat on there. Again, don't be stingy. Pour a little more sauce over it. That ought to be good. And there we go. So let me get down here where you can see me. Let's see how this is now. Messy. Yeah, that's kind of what I remember. The womp sauce and the Stubbs sauce is a good mix. You get the sweetness of that womp sauce, and then Stubbs comes in at the end and gives you a little kick. So, not a lot, but enough. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. I'd do that again. Well now, so that's 2 tri-tips down. You can see how versatile they are. Let me wipe my mouth because I'm sure I'm a mess. You can reverse sear them, cut them and eat them like a steak, which I've done before. You can cut them up into tacos, which is really good. Cut it thin, make a sandwich like this, make a poor boy, and we still got one more to go. The tri-tip brisket is still in the smoker. As soon as it's done, we'll pull that. I'm going to call this one a success. So the El Toro Texas version I'll give it a thumbs up. Okay, we'll come back when the brisket's ready. So our brisket version of the tri-tip has reached just under 170, so we're going to go ahead and pull it, wrap it, and put it back in there to finish it off. So let me go grab it. Oh yeah, that's looking pretty. So you can see it's starting to get bark on it like you would with a normal brisket. In a normal brisket, I would maybe put some beef tallow on there, but a lot of times I'll just use butter. So I'm going to cut a few pats of butter here. We're going to put a couple underneath. Because you're going to want the seams on the bottom when you place it back in there. So there we go. I'll put it back in like that. Maybe I should double wrap it. There we go. Now, take my meter. Put it back in. And back in the smoker we go. I'm guessing hour and a half maybe? We'll see. Okay, so we're back in the kitchen now. It's nighttime. It's about 4 hours later. We pulled the brisket at about 2:03. Brought it in. I put it in the oven, unheated oven, to rest. And then we had to take a trip, so now we're back 4 hours later. It's cooled down quite a bit. And you see I've unwrapped it. It's got a lot of that bark like you would see on a normal brisket. So we're going to use our brisket cutter here and take a look at this. So let's see, I'm going to slice it down the middle again. And there we go. I don't know if you can see a good shot of that. It's been sitting for a while, so it's not as juicy as it would have been if I'd have cut it like 2 hours ago. You don't have to let these sit that long, not like a brisket. We'll cut against the grain here, do some slices, and do a taste test. Let's pull this piece out here. So look at that, comes right apart, just like a brisket. That's pretty good. Okay, one thing. The reason the brisket's not as, the bark is not as thick here is because remember we used pepper and holy voodoo. Holy voodoo is like very powdery, so it really doesn't create a good bark. But I'm telling you, boy, it tastes good on here. That holy voodoo tastes good on everything. Let's see here. Lane, have you been a good boy today? You introducing my puppies. This is Lane, my 2-year-old German short-haired pointer. Being a good boy? Easy. Sierra. And this is Sierra coming. Come here, girl. Well, she doesn't want any, so Lane, you get 2 pieces. Hey, that's really good. So, again, like I said earlier, tri-tip's very versatile. You've seen we've done it 3 ways today. All 3 are outstanding. So, try it yourself, see what you think. Sierra? Nope. And let me know in the comments if you try any of these or which one of these is your favorite. Or if you got a different way you like to prepare it, let me know. But thanks for watching, and happy barbecuing. Cheers. Click. Okay, hey, so we're back in the house. It's a little later than I expected. Get down, Lane. Get down. Our dog's excited for this.